G'day home improvers, renovators and homesteaders. It's John Green. It's a Monday here, so there's lots of traffic in the background. Hope it doesn't interfere with the recording. But anyway, I'm about to show you this is another retaining wall that we're building on this side. The soil from the top of the retaining wall will go down into the retaining wall. I'm going to stomp it all down as it goes in, so there won't be any shifting later on. I've reinforced everything. Put in the bars, the wooden posts with concrete at the bottom, with at least a foot in the ground for all of them. And I'll be putting these big floorboards over there, but in a shiplap fashion, because I'd like to try that out. I haven't really done it before. I'll just be sort of feathering them over each other so the rain doesn't sit on it but sort of runs down. A lot like this shiplap here. I bought that from the shop. That's already made for you, but you can see how it kind of feathers down over itself instead of just being a flat wall. It looks more aesthetically pleasing too, and I believe it's stronger. What I'm doing here, I've got a lot of this in the garage. It's motor oil, used dirty black. Ooh, smells pretty awesome though. Motor oil. I don't know why I like that smell. There's not too many things you can do with used motor oil, and you definitely shouldn't be pouring it down any drains or sinks or anything. I personally like to use it along the perimeter of my property because it kills absolutely everything. It is black, so if you don't like seeing a black streak along the edge of your fence line, maybe you want to choose something else, like cooking oil, which is clear. It'll still kill all the, it'll kill everything. It'll kill anything that's alive along that fence line, and it'll keep your fence line intact, and you can throw your cooking oil away without pouring it into the environment. Just save it up, and then you can use it for applications. I'm going to cover all of these boards. Top and bottom. I've never actually painted with motor oil. I've used motor oil for things, and to tell you the truth, it's just like normal oil. It's not any thicker than your average cooking oil, and you can sort of just see when it goes on, it changes the colour of the wood, and then you know you've covered that bit and you can move on. I'm all about recycling. And like I said, there's not too many uses for used motor oil. It's not that dark, it's not black, it's not burnt. It's just brown. I think that's probably because I mixed it with some normal motor oil. Because we don't need it. There's just some old stuff in the garage, we mixed it together. And now some wood preparation. And to tell you the truth, it looks like honey. It doesn't, like treacle. Maybe like maple syrup to our cousins in the north. And to tell you the truth, I don't mind the smell of it. I think it smells kind of like Dad's garage or whatever, you know? Not the worst smell there was. In the past I had done this with really used motor oil that was black, and I have to tell you, motor oil that's been used and is black is carcinogenic. That means it can cause cancer. So if you get it in your mouth or whatever, or accidentally in the garden somehow, you got to make sure this stuff doesn't touch any of your food. Like I said, this is brown, but I've used black oil before, and black burnt carbon is pretty much the breeding ground of illness and ill health. You're not really meant to eat black things. don't mean blackberries. Burnt food isn't healthy, so burnt oil isn't good either. This oil's pretty damn nice. It really looks like treacle, or in Australia, golden syrup. I'm just going to cover everything with it, and that's why I'm doing this in the backyard. You can be very liberal with the recycled materials. I've got gallons of this stuff. Pretty thick. I like the colour. It's kind of yellow, golden. See if it stays that way. It's nice being out here. You can hear the birds. Plus you wouldn't want to do this indoors, because this stuff will probably choke you. That's unusual. For a bad angle. All right. To be honest, things got a bit noisy. There's all kinds of machines going and stuff. So I'll stop the recording, but I will talk about what I've been doing. Try to get these in the background. Alrighty, so these pieces of wood actually were very, very waterlogged, and I actually bought them from the warehouse next door because they'd been sitting basically, you know, just taking on water for who knows how long, maybe a year, 2 years, who knows. And for some reason the timber was kept outside for at least a year, and the water all got wet. Water all soaked into a lot of the wood, and the wood turned black. And it didn't actually rot, which is a surprise. Maybe it dried out in between and stuff, but it didn't buckle because there was so much wood on top of itself. There was about 60 pieces of 4.8 meter floorboards for $200. So I thought that was a pretty good deal because none of it was rotten or anything. Just some of it has mold on it and things like that. That's where the oil comes in as well. So the idea is there's like two principles. Principle number one, the wood you're going to use has to be completely dry before you treat it with motor oil. So all of this stuff, even though it was completely wet, I had it drying in the garage for, I don't know, a few weeks, 3 weeks or so. Tried to separate them, flip them over from day to day, things like that. And the last few days it's been sunny, so I had the boards outside, and they all stayed straight and didn't buckle or bow. So I'm pretty happy with that. Two, the motor oil, you cannot use too much of it. So use your waste. Don't buy motor oil to cover your timber with, although that would work. It's not worth spending money on. It's something more that, you know, maybe your dad or granddad's got a drum of black oil sitting in the garage right now that you'd be able to use. And like I said, it's got a couple of purposes. Very great for boundary lines. Kills everything, weeds, seeds, everything. But if you don't like the look of the black, use cooking oil. And finally, yeah, you can't use too much of it. When you're lathering it onto the wood, don't be conservative. It's not varnish. You know, it doesn't cost anything. So just really cake it on there until it's glistening like it's treacle or honey. And I don't know if you can see the result, really, but I'll give you a look. These pieces of wood look pretty shabby. I don't know if the color's coming out, but I mean, whoops, very kind of a yellowy golden syrup color. I don't know whether it'll stay that way. I'm sure over time it'll soak in, and that just means that in a few, well, let's say in a year, once this thing goes up, I'll give it another coat of this motor oil again. And I mean, really, bugs don't want to go into the motor oil. Plants don't want to grow out of it. Water doesn't go into it. That's why the wood has to be completely bone dry. And otherwise, using recycled wood makes me happy. I looked up the cost of the wood, and it was over 600 euros new. So I mean, yeah, it was damaged, so to speak. Perfectly flat though, nothing bowed, nothing bent, and that in itself is a miracle when it comes to buying rough cut wood. Alright, so thanks for tuning in. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. People are mowing lawns, people are mixing concrete. It's not going to be the best video, but you get an idea now at least what I'm about to do. You can see these supports that have been concreted in. These other supports at the back are holding up the temporary wall. And once I start filling this in and stomping it down, it's not going to shift. It's going to stay very, very put. And then I'll put in the ship layer by layer as I add more soil layer by layer. And by the time we're finished, we should have a space at the top where we might be able to put a deck or something nice like that. There's so much oil, it's dripping from the bottom. And that's probably a sign that you did it properly. That there's enough oil on there that it's still dripping off. And you know, I'll leave that till tomorrow. I assume most of it will soak in. And yeah, then I just stick it up. I have to wear gloves anyway. So yeah, I'm going to stick up this fence tomorrow or the next day. They say it's going to be 22 degrees. It's going to be a scorcher here on the west coast of Ireland. So yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to do that. Probably finish it tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. This has been John Green showing you how I use motor oil to preserve wood. Just make sure the wood's dry. And just be careful with the oil as well, because I also mixed other things in there, such as brake fluid and things like that. And you're not really meant to mix oils because different things could happen. There could be chemical reactions. Don't do that. I did that just because I mixed all of the oils and things I had all into one big tub. I left the lid off overnight so the gases could dissipate. And then since then I've got actually probably maybe 3 gallons, 4 gallons of black or dark brown motor oil. It smells pretty nice actually, because it's different kinds of oils mixed together, and some of them weren't used, some of them weren't burnt, and that's why the color is so nice. Alright, I hope you like that anyway. I'll show you the next video coming up very, very soon. Green ideas, John Green. That's my idea. Hope you like it.